False argument. Did Adam keep the Sabbath holy? Genesis chapter 2:2-3. This passage clearly states, "And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made." The act of blessing and sanctifying the seventh day is pivotal. It establishes the Sabbath as a day set apart for holy purpose. This divine action implies an expectation of observance, not merely a record of God's rest. Exodus 20:8-11. The fourth commandment instructs, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." It explicitly references creation as the basis for the Sabbath. "For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it." The command to remember suggests that the Sabbath was not a new institution given at Sinai, but a reaffirmation of a pre-existing, creation-based sanctity. Mark 2:27. Jesus states, "The Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath." This indicates that the Sabbath was established for humanity's benefit right from creation, intended as a gift to all mankind, starting with Adam and Eve. This counters the notion that it was merely a Mosaic law without relevance before Sinai. Hebrews 4:4-10. This passage discusses God's rest and states, "For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and God did rest the seventh day from all his works." It then makes a connection to a spiritual rest for believers, which suggests a perpetual significance of the seventh-day rest that traces back to creation, intended as a model for all humanity, including Adam and Eve. Ezekiel 20:12. "Moreover also I gave them my Sabbaths, to be a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am the Lord that sanctify them." Although this refers to the Israelites, it underscores the Sabbath as a sign of God's sanctifying work, a principle that logically extends back to the sanctification of the seventh day at creation. Cultural and historical context. Many ancient cultures, influenced by the Babylonian calendar, recognized a 7-day week that included a rest day. This widespread observance suggests a common memory or tradition that could trace back to human origins, supporting the universality of the Sabbath. Logical argument from creation order. If God deemed it important to rest after 6 days of creation and to bless and sanctify the seventh day specifically, it logically follows that this pattern was meant as an example for humanity, starting with the first humans, Adam and Eve. Their lives, in perfect communion with God's will, would naturally reflect God's established order. Challenge to skeptics and non-believers. To pastors, skeptics and non-believers, the challenge would be to provide clear, scriptural evidence that directly contradicts the interpretation of these passages, suggesting that Sabbath observance is rooted in the order of creation itself, and not merely an arbitrary legal requirement introduced to the Israelites. Furthermore, how can one disregard the intrinsic connection between God's rest and the sanctification of the seventh day as irrelevant to humanity when Scripture repeatedly ties them together?